I'm Logan Mitchell, 34 years old, and I've been working as a lineman for the power company since I was 22. Decent pay, solid benefits, but make no mistake, this job isn't for the faint of heart. We're talking 80-foot climbs in windstorms, handling voltage that could cook you alive, and working through anything Mother Nature decides to throw at you. Last winter, I was out for 16 hours straight during an ice storm. Couldn't feel my fingers by the end of it. One buddy lost 3 fingers when a line went hot. Another fell and shattered his pelvis. But it paid the bills, not just mine, but apparently everyone else's too. Growing up, I was always the other son. My younger brother, Brandon, 31, was the golden boy. High school football, average grades, and a smile that made our parents treat him like the second coming of Tom Brady. Never mind, he mostly sat on the bench. I was the quiet, hard-working one. Better grades, part-time job at a hardware store. I even won a statewide drafting competition. But somehow, none of that mattered. Dinners were all Brandon this, Brandon that. I became background noise. My dad, Frank, a retired factory supervisor, spent most of my childhood telling me I wasn't applying myself enough. My mom, Linda, an elementary school secretary, always had time for Brandon's games, but just couldn't get off work when I had anything going on. After high school, Brandon went to state on a partial scholarship, partied it away, and dropped out in 2 years. I went to trade school, got certified, and got to work. But somehow, Brandon was still the one with potential, and I was just Logan. Brandon couldn't hold a job. Guess who helped with his rent? First, it was just this once. Then it became monthly. I even created a joint emergency account to make it easier to help out with things like their furnace, car repairs, and Brandon's endless crises. For years, I was the family ATM. Thanksgiving dinners always came with a side of backhanded compliments. Brandon would show up in designer clothes he couldn't afford, pitching some new business idea, while they nodded like he was on Shark Tank. Then they'd turn to me and ask, still climbing those poles, Logan. One night, I overheard my mom talking to my aunt. It's a blessing Logan's job pays well. Brandon needs time to find his path. I drove home with my jaw clenched, wondering why I kept letting them do this to me. Then, 2 months ago, everything changed. I had a serious accident at work. I was on a pole during a windstorm when a branch hit me. I fell 25 feet before my safety line caught, but the damage was done: 2 broken vertebrae, fractured pelvis, and a ruined right knee. The surgeon said I'd need titanium rods in my spine and months of recovery. For the first month, I couldn't even care for myself. So I called my parents. Linda answered after 4 rings, distracted. "That's terrible, honey. We'll try to check in when we can." Frank asked if I was getting paid leave. No offers to help, just concern about my finances. Then I called Brandon. "Damn, that sucks, bro. Since you'll be home anyway, can I crash at your place?" I hung up. My crew buddy, Mason, came to get me from the hospital. He set up a bedroom on the first floor, stocked my fridge, moved my TV downstairs, even rigged up a pulley system so I could grab stuff without bending. Our supervisor, Doug, dropped by with food and a PlayStation. My neighbor, Janice, a retired nurse, helped with wound care. These people weren't related to me, but they showed up. Then my cousin Alex called. We were close as kids. He'd been at my parents' house the day before. Greater than, they're planning a fishing trip to Lake Merrick, cabin, boat, the works. When I asked if they were postponing because of your surgery, your mom laughed and said, "Let him recover on his own. We're not wasting a good vacation because Logan fell off a pole." I checked the joint account. $3,200 charged to Merrick Outfitters. $2,500 in cash withdrawals over the last few days. They were using my money for their luxury vacation, while I was recovering from spine surgery. That was the final straw. I transferred every cent, $8,700, out of the joint account and canceled the credit card they'd maxed out twice before. I listed the reason as fraud risk. Then I called Mason. "Bring the security cams." We installed cameras around the house and changed the garage code and locks. That night, I slept knowing for the first time I'd finally drawn a line. Surgery went well. When I woke up, my phone blew up with texts and voicemails. "Logan, pick up now. Where's the money, you selfish bastard?" I didn't answer, but eventually, curiosity got me. I picked up around noon. "Linda, Logan James Mitchell, what did you do?" Me. Nice to hear from you too. How's the fishing trip? She raged about the money. Me. For emergencies like my spine surgery. Or your cabin rental, she had the audacity to say. That's different. We needed a break from all the stress. Then they broke into my house. Using the old key I'd given them, Frank and Brandon let themselves in. I watched on the security feed as they rummaged through my drawers looking for cash. Frank found me in bed, hooked up to an IV and wrapped in a back brace. Where is the goddamn money, Logan? You broke into my house, while I'm recovering from surgery. That's your move, Brandon. Quit being dramatic. It's just back surgery. I kicked them out. Then I called the police. The officer who took my statement shook his head. They broke in to demand money, while you were bedridden. The next day, I got a call from Sheriff's Deputy Alvarez. They'd filed a theft complaint against me. I calmly explained everything and provided security footage and bank records. Meanwhile, they bombarded me with messages, guilt, anger, gaslighting. They told extended family I'd stolen their retirement fund. Some bought it. My Aunt Rhonda even quoted the Bible at me. But karma wasn't done yet. 1 week later, someone intercepted my mail, disability paperwork, gone. Then someone tried to open a loan in my name. My bank called. Someone claiming power of attorney had tried to access my accounts using old emergency contact details. That's when I called Alex again. Still got that lawyer friend. 2 days later, I met with Sarah, a legal bulldog specializing in family financial abuse. I gave her everything, bank records, videos, fraudulent loan attempts. This is serious, she said. We're talking criminal charges. We filed for a restraining order, drafted cease and desist letters, and began the process of suing them for financial restitution. I had a spreadsheet. $63,000 loaned over 10 years. Sarah grinned. Let's ruin their fishing trip. The papers were couriered the morning they were set to leave. According to Alex, Frank smashed his phone in rage at the bait shop. Linda showed up at my door later that week, crying. We're your parents, Logan. Turn around. You're violating the restraining order. She screamed. You'll regret this. You'll end up alone. I muted the speaker and took a long sip of my protein shake. 2 weeks later, I got a forged medical letter claiming Linda had cancer. I called the hospital. She wasn't even a patient there. They forged cancer documents to get money. 6 months passed. They tried everything. Fake emergencies, emotional blackmail, lies. I documented everything and kept moving forward. I got the training coordinator job. Desk work, less pain. My back healed better than expected. I moved to a 1-story home near the training center and started dating again. Then karma came back for seconds. Alex called, laughing. Dude, Frank and Brandon just got scammed out of $14,000. They fell for a crypto scam and blamed the bank for not stopping them. That night, I got an email from Brandon. Please, man, we're desperate. We need $20,000. We'll pay you back. We're family. I replied with 4 words. Karma's a bitch. Then I blocked him. 1 year after my accident, I hosted a backyard barbecue. Mason, his wife, their kids. Alex and his girlfriend. Janice with her famous potato salad. Even Doug came with a 6-pack. Looking around, I realized, these people were my family now. Later that night, I found a card from Janice on the kitchen counter. It read, family is who shows up. Proud of you for figuring that out. I sometimes wonder if Frank, Linda, and Brandon ever reflect on what they lost. Probably not. People like that rarely have the self-awareness to realize the damage they cause. But as for me, I don't regret cutting them off. I regret not doing it sooner.